Hey everybody, welcome to episode 55 of the Five Barista Files. Today is Wednesday, November 9th. Alright, this episode is going to be pretty short because it's pretty light on content, but that should make up for last week's very, very long episode. Not that this week wasn't also an epic mail week, but I don't have a whole lot of dying to show you. So, let's get started, shall we? Let me grab my notes here. Okay. Week in review. Regular week. My husband came down last weekend. We did a bunch of cool stuff. Last week of the quarter was last week at school, so grades closed on Friday, and I've been trying to get my grades ready and get them posted. I did that today, 3.5 hours before the deadline. It's very fantastic, and yep, that's really been it. I've just been trying to make it through. This weekend is a long weekend for me. Because I have Veterans Day off. My husband doesn't, but I do. So I'll be going north tomorrow night, Thursday night, because I don't have to work on Friday. So happy Veterans Day to all veterans out there. You are noticed and you are appreciated. And yes, you are remembered. My father is a veteran. I have two brothers who are former military and another one who is active military. So Veterans Day is a very important holiday in my family, so I will be honoring all my veterans, and I hope you do too. So, all right, knitting. There's a finished object this week. Hang on, my chair is really uncomfortable today. Ugh, sorry. There's a finished object this week. Yay! It's not the object that you have seen before because I started a brand new one. What happened was last Thursday, my husband called me and asked me, this is a week ago Thursday, so I probably talked about it last week. I think I did talk about it last week. Maybe you did see it. I really need to watch my former episodes before I record. Maybe I did show you last week. Anyway, he had asked me for a lined beanie because it was getting cold at work, and I did the best I could. I cast on that Thursday night, but it just didn't work out. I got it almost finished Saturday morning. We were headed to a football game, so he had to wear a different hat to the football game, and I was really hoping I was going to get it done by then, but it just didn't happen. I got it all done. I cast off the stitches at the top. I Kitchenered it. I like the Kitchener stitch because it doesn't leave that little like nipple at the top. It just makes everything nice and flat. He put it on his head, and I looked at it and went, it's not deep enough, is it? He said, no, it's really not. So I took all of the decreases out. I ripped the whole thing out. One of the reasons, excuse me, that this Bartlett yarn is so awesome is that the stitches, it's a very grabby wool, so the stitches stay right where they are. So you can rip it all out and not have to worry about the stitches falling down and laddering down because they really don't. They stay right there. So I ripped out all the decreases and I increased it by, I think, 3 rows because he only wanted it a little bit longer. And then I did the decreases again. So I put it on and I looked at him and I said, do you have a wrinkle right here on your forehead? And he felt it. And he said, yeah, the lining's bunched up under there. I said, fix it. He tried and he said, I can't fix it. It keeps bunching up. What had happened was I had increased in the pattern due to test knitter feedback. I had increased the amount from the purl ridge to the decreases from 6.5 to 7.5 inches, which really makes sense. That's a logical length for a head. So I had increased this length. But what I also did when I wasn't paying attention was I also increased this length. And this is the length of the lining. It's from the purl ridge down. And I had actually made that 6.5 inches, which when you tuck it up inside the hat, like you see how the hat starts to pull in, like right here, the hat starts to pull in, but the lining doesn't. I mean, the lining actually looks, it's the same number of stitches, but it can look even wider than the hat itself. I'm not doing a very good job of showing this to you, but what happened was it was getting all wrinkled up inside. So I didn't want to reknit the whole thing. So what I did was I took my scissors and I physically cut off the ribbing because I undid the cast off edge and I tried to pull it out and I couldn't get the yarn out of the ribbing. So I cut the ribbing off. then I found an end and I just started pulling this way because this is actually my cast on edge. So I cut that off and then I ripped down quite a ways and then picked up those stitches and just knit the lining. So it went from about 6.5 inches to about 5.5 inches, which does work inside the hat. I'm going to put this on and totally screw my hair up worse, but it's worth it, I think. So you can see. And my husband has a gigantic head. This is the large size, the 100 and however many stitches, 96 plus 16 is 112. This is the 112 stitch size. So you can see, I mean, there's quite a bit of give there in mine. But the hat lining now ends at a reasonable height, so it's not, it ends right about here. It's not as, it doesn't bunch as much. Now, I still do have some looseness up here. That's because when the hat is doubled, it's smaller circumference, so that when you get to the top, it's a little bit loose. I don't think that's a problem. In fact, it's going to trap more heat. So if you have a problem with the little like bumps on the hat, this might not be the hat for you, or you might want to start your decreases sooner and do a decrease round and then 2 knit rounds. Excuse me. But I'm happy with the hat finally. You can see right here my jogless stripes aren't as jogless as I wanted, but they're pretty close, and he's never gonna know. Sorry. I'm hoping he's happy with it. After having ripped out both ends and re-knitting both ends, I'm really kind of done with this hat for right now. He did tell me that he had asked 2 of his friends and at work, and 2 of his friends now want lined beanies also. I think I'm going to use a softer yarn for those. Knitting worsted weight yarn, rustic worsted weight yarn on size 5 needles is kind of hard on your hands because you're having to kind of push stuff around. So I think I might use some Cascade or some Valley yarns or something a little bit softer and smoother so that it goes a little bit more quickly, or at least is easier on my hands. No reason to do that. So it's kind of on my Christmas knitting list. I'm looking at my Christmas knitting list right now. I'll show you that in a minute, but we'll see. So I got no progress on the sock yarn sweater, no progress on, I got about 6 rows on My Wish this week, and I didn't touch either sock. I did start the Cthulhu mittens that I showed you, that colorwork pattern. I started them on a size 2, but I was getting more than 10 inches per inch, and it was too tight and really congested, and I wasn't very happy with it. So I'm going to go up to 4s. Generally with 4s with the fingering weight yarn. This is the fingering weight yarn. It's Aurora Heather is the dark green, and the light green is Tarragon. It's Knit Picks palette. Normally I wouldn't go up to a 4, but it's stranded colorwork, so it's going to be thicker than normal anyway, and it's not like he's going to be, you know, digging his way out of an Antarctic storm with these mittens. They're going to be for good mittens. So I think they'll be all right. So I'm going to retry that on 4s. I'm knitting the baby sock yarn sweater on 4s, so the Cthulhu mittens cannot start until the sock yarn sweater is done. I have 1 arm. You think in the past 3 weeks I could have gotten that 1 arm finished? Hopefully this weekend. So that's that. I do have my Christmas knitting list figured out. I don't have names on it, so I'm going to show you this. I'm sorry for the camera jiggling. Oh, there you are. Here's my giant whiteboard of doom. Now, put my arm down. So I have here my deadline knits. These are all the Christmas knits. So by November 16th, I have to have the sock yarn sweater, the baby socks, which I haven't even cast on yet, the Argyle socks I want to knit, the My Wish shawl, and these baby booties, which is a whole new thing I haven't even talked about. That'll all need to be done by the 16th. That's the middle of next week. I'm hoping to get the sock yarn sweater and the My Wish shawl done this weekend. We will see. I'm not sure about the My Wish. The baby booties and the baby socks may get done this weekend, and then I may concentrate on the My Wish shawl next week. By November 30th, I'm going to have a pair of Poor Poets mitts done. December 15th, I need to have the Cthulhu mittens, the octopus, either an octopus or an anglerfish from the Amigurumi Knits book done and the Elizabeth Cow done, because those all need to be shipped for Christmas. And then it's underneath the bag here. By December 23rd, I have all the rest of the stuff. Felted mittens for my husband, Lopry socks for my husband, a monster as a gift, an Elizabeth Cow as a gift, French press slippers are a gift that I've been waiting for a couple of years, and there's those 2 lined beanies that I need to do down there at the bottom. So that's my Christmas knitting list. It looks doable from that angle. We'll see exactly what happens when I start to knit, because it would be a miracle if all that got knit. A miracle. A miracle. We'll see how it goes. I did not do any spinning this week. That is just waiting for me. I don't want to start the Navajo churro spinning until I finish writing the blog post about the Southdown fiber. The Southdown fiber, the last post of that is just waiting for me to write it up. That's all. We'll see. Maybe I can get that. I don't know. We'll see when I get that done. I'm not sure when that's going to happen, but I'm working on it. I haven't forgotten. And then I'll do the initial post about the Navajo churro and the Navajo churro spinning and processing and all those. So anyway, so those are 2. I haven't picked my 3rd fleece yet. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, so hopefully soon. I say that a lot. We need to spend less time on the internet and more time actually creating things, I think. Die pots, I have nothing to show you this week because I'm not having an update this week. The next update will be next Thursday, November. Ooh. Next Thursday, November 17th, is my 6-year anniversary of my first date with my husband, so I am not going to be available that day. So I don't know when the next update will be. It may be the Monday following that. It may be like maybe the 21st. I don't know. Maybe the 22nd. There will be another update this month. I just can't tell you when it is. I'm really sorry about that, guys. I know some of you are really looking forward to updates. When I know, you will know. With living in 2 places, the schedule has gotten very iffy. Has been all school year. I kind of was on a system of updating every other Thursday, and I was taking them home and mailing them from my post office that I enjoy up north, because the post office down here is kind of sucky. But I'm not working on my anniversary. Like, I have to work at school that day because I have to. But I might be able to do it that Friday. We'll see. I'm going to do the best I can, guys, I promise. So when I know, you'll know. So, thanks for sticking with me on that. That was a whole heap of no information, wasn't it? I'm sorry. Processes. I have scoured my brain for processes that I could share with you. Things that I thought could help you either from a business, running your own fiber business aspect, or from a dyeing aspect, or anything. And I don't know what else I can share with you. Once the end of the year gets closer and I start to get ready for taxes, I've got some stuff for you on how to prepare for that. I don't want to jump the gun right now. You know all about shipping and getting stuff from Associated Bag. You know about how I dye. I've been pretty open with all that. I have a plan in place for a potential warping board. I'm hoping to get my husband to help me out with that this weekend, if he's got the materials up north. If I can make that happen, I will definitely share with you what it is and how I did it. I'm all about open information, so if I can successfully create some self-striping sock yarn, you will be the first to know. But I don't have anything this week. If there's something you want to know how I do, put a message, private message me on Ravelry or Plurk. I'm Boutros Babe, Boutros Babe. in both places, or drop a message in the Highland Handmades thread and be like, hey, I want to know how you do this. Let me know. I'm happy to share information. That's the whole purpose of the podcast. But I'm kind of out of ideas, so help. Okay, growth. I had a great update last week. It wasn't the most money I've made in an update. It was close, but it wasn't quite that good. But it was the most number of packages I've sent out in a single update. I think I was up to like 28 packages in a single update. That's pretty darn good. It was a lot of people who were buying single skeins of yarn. And I noticed that a lot of the names that I was getting were names I didn't recognize. I had some usuals, some customers that have ordered from me before, but there were a lot of new names, and I am thrilled. I have no idea how any of you heard of me, so if you want to share how you heard of me, that would be awesome. Did you hear about the podcast? Did you hear about my yarn from a friend? I'm just kind of curious where new people come from, because like my Plurk friends is where I started, and Plurk continues to be where a lot of my customers come from. So these people whose names I don't recognize, I just kind of want to know where you heard from me. So love me. I am so sorry. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy it, and I hope you come back. That would be awesome. Grabby hands. I have a lot of stuff in grabby hands this week. The first thing is something that you can get. Not all of it you can get this week, but some of it you can. And one of the things that I got in the mail this week was made possible by 2 very generous donations to the podcast. And they are my Highland Handmades buttons. There's a skein of braided fiber in the background, and it says, enable your addiction, Highland Handmades. It's a nice square button, pin back. It's a 1.5-inch button, I think. I got these buttons from purebuttons.com. They have a template that you open up in like Photoshop, and then you insert your picture in to make sure that it reaches the edges correctly and stuff, and then you send it to them with some money, and they send you back buttons. I ordered 100 buttons, and it cost me, with shipping, like $53. So they're a little bit more than 50 cents a piece. That's a pretty darn good deal. I know there are at least Etsy sellers that do 100 custom buttons for like 20 bucks. And I am definitely going to investigate those options. I wanted to try this first to see how it was going to go. I like the square buttons because I have a square little button on my blog that looks exactly like this, as a matter of fact. I don't have a circular design. If any of you loyal listeners would like to design a logo for me, I'd be happy to take a look at it. I will absolutely give you a shout out if you come up with one. I just haven't taken the time to do it. So I wanted a square button, and I knew Pure Buttons did it, so I got mine from Pure Buttons. If you want a button, there's one of 2 ways you can do that. The first way is to make a purchase of over $50 from the shop. So on the next update, whenever that is, if you order more than $50 of yarn, you'll get a free button. Similar to how I used to do the local soaps and stuff. I just don't have any soaps, but these are actually cheaper than the soaps. So if you order $50 or more, you get a button. The other way to get my button is to add a button from the shop to your order. I've got a shop listing on the website of, what am I talking? That wasn't even a sentence. Let's start that over. In the shop is a listing for a button for $1. If you like a button, but you don't want to spend $50 worth of your money on yarn or fiber, just add the button to your cart and I will ship it to you. There's no shipping fee on this because I'm going to include it in your package. I'm pretty sure I can spot the stamp for the envelope that this would go in if you just want the button for $1. Charging the $1 for the button enables me to buy more buttons. This is a cyclical process, is how it works. If you are a regular customer, Tina, Shannon, if you're a regular customer, the next time you order one, I'm going to pop one in there. I've sent out like 6 buttons so far to people who have ordered from me many, many times. Those names that I recognize as easily as my own. And there are several people who have been very generous and ordered from me a lot. So they've already got buttons coming, and I will try. I'm keeping a list of who's got buttons, and I'll try and make sure that you guys get your buttons soon. The two ladies who donated to me to the podcast for this will absolutely be getting buttons. If you'd like to donate to the podcast, there's a button on the Fiberista Files site. It is over here, right there, down there somewhere. I think it's down there a little bit. If you click on that, to the donate button, you can make a donation to the podcast, and I'll send you a button for that. I do believe when you are done donating, it takes you back to the Intention Yarns website, which is my other company, versus the Highland Handmades website. Don't worry, it gets to me. Both are connected to my PayPal, and for some reason, PayPal just sends people there. It's not a big deal. So, button, $1. Order $50 worth of stuff, you get it free. Or if you're a regular customer, there's one that will eventually come to you the next time you order. So yeah, get your button. Yay! Okay, that's it. This is how short my notes are this week compared to last week's when I had like 3 pages. Okay, other grabby hands. I picked up the latest Knit Scene magazine. Knit Scene is one of the only magazines that I still find lots that I want to knit, especially like there's a lot of sweaters that I really enjoy. The cover sweater is not one of them, but often I find a lot of sweaters that I like. And there was the least amount of patterns that I liked in this magazine than any of the other Knit Scenes, but I realize it's all personal taste. There were some things that I really like about this magazine, and the first one that I really like is this article about 5 ways to work a bobble. They have this article that shows you all of the different ways you can create bobbles in your knitting. So if there's one particular way that you hate, there may be another kind that you like. So some are really obvious and others are a little bit more subtle, but it gives you the directions for how to do these 5 kinds of bobbles. That's awesome. They're called, number 1 is the traditional 3-stitch bobble. Number 2 is the traditional 4-stitch bobble. Number 3 is the wrapped bobble. 4 is the Estonian button stitch. And 5 is knotted I-cord. So now you know. And there are directions for all of these. I really liked that. I like the technique articles. And there are some patterns that follow it that have bobbles in them. There's also a really interesting article on the brief history of Angora rabbits, and that was worth reading, definitely. Good bathroom reading. This hat is knit out of an Angora yarn. I like this hat. I'm not sure how this extra up here would look on my head, but I bet you could keep it going and just make it slouchier, and it would be a slouchy hat. I just like the detail in that. That detail doesn't go all the way around. It's just a panel. I'm sure you could continue it around, but I liked that it was just a panel. I like that asymmetrical look. It's called the Francisca hat. The other thing that I really liked, there was a sweater that I liked, and I'm not sure why I liked it because it's not very practical. Oh, hold on. Let me back up. The Petra shawl is another one that I liked. This is a very simple garter ridge shawlette, or shawl, and it has a bobbled edge. I don't like it right here where that little piece is chunked out, but I think I could adapt that. So the bobbles go all around the edge, and it's just a very simple, kind of like a hitchhiker or trillion, very plain garter ridge shawlette. But those bobbles didn't look too terrible. It almost looks like a plaited cable. Gray Days Wander. I am so not a fan of that cover sweater. It has like the more than 3/4 length sleeves, like the sleeves like right here, I have giant arms sleeves that stick out too far, and it's like puffy right there, and I look like a giant. Excuse me, I really liked the Madalena mittens. They're the sort of Norwegian kind of mitten. I liked the design and how it looks layered. Like it goes over here but under here. I think that's an interesting color technique. The Teresa pullover is the other one that I liked. I wonder if there's a bigger picture here. Probably in the main page. Let me see. Yeah, no. The Teresa pullover looks like it has great fit and flatter, and it's knit with kind of bigger yarn, at least worsted weight yarn, so it doesn't look like it would take forever. And it has this delicate lace panel at the top, which I actually like the look of. But you can totally see the chick's bra straps through the pattern. Oh wait, right here. There's a bigger one. This is another back shot. And look, there's her giant bra strap right there. Here's the front view of it. Again, it looks like it's got a nice fit. They did them with full-length sleeves. It's a hip-length sweater. I like the yoke, but bra. I just don't know if I could wear that and have my bra hanging out. I mean, I suppose I could put a shirt under it, but I just don't know. I'm iffy on that one. That one I'm mixed. I also really like the Ramona cowl. I bought this before I really looked at the Ramona cowl. It's a color work, kind of like a K-Uni cowl. But it uses like, I think it uses over 900 yards of yarn. And I was like, yeah, for a cowl, that's probably not going to happen. Be nice if it did, but I'm not knitting 900 yards into a cowl. Not just to go around my neck. I do like the paisley print though. So that's pretty much all I'm going to show you out of that. Yep. So that is the winter 2011 issue of Knit Scene. So a couple good patterns out of that one. What else? Oh, I got yarn. And not just yarn. Epic yarn. If the guy who invented the story of Beowulf was alive today, he would create a poem about my yarn. He would. I'm an English teacher. I know these things. So I got my Trifecta of Awesome Yarn Club package number 2. And I didn't even talk about package number 1 because it was the one that I sent out. So I just didn't talk about it. But this is the package that I got from Lisa. I got the Trifecta of Awesome yarn pin. And a pickle pin. Because Heinz pickles come from Philadelphia. Or Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh? Pittsburgh. Got a nice postcard with a lovely note from Lisa. Because she loves me. I got a pretzel. I'm going to eat this pretzel in just a minute. Peanut butter and chocolate pretzel. Which everyone who's eaten it has said it's fantastic. And I haven't had a chance yet. So these are the yarns. This is Apple Festival, and this is Gala Red. They match. Ooh, my colors look so good right now. Fantastic. I'm glad that showed up like that. These are going to be used together into some sort of color work project. I'm kind of thinking lined beanie. Really? I'm going to knit another one of those freaking lined beanies? But don't you think they'd look great if this was the main color and then I had some solid stripes in there? This is a self-striping, I think. I might make worsted weight socks, like boot socks, and keep them for a house sock. I don't know. I've got so many ideas, but I know that I want to use these two colors together. This is the Cozy Base, which is 100% superwash merino, 220 yards. Per skein. Not want. Have. And of course I got a lovely letter from Lisa as well, explaining all of the stuff. And these buttons, this is so clever. This is a whole layer of cleverness that I don't have words for. These buttons by Emily Eckel, Handcrafted Artisan Buttons, are repurposed buttons that the lady Emily dyes herself. Like yarn dyes, she dyes the buttons to match the yarn. It's not like these buttons are found buttons. These buttons were dyed, were created into the color of this yarn on purpose with deliberate intent. I didn't know you could do that. I did not know that you could dye buttons different colors. I just thought they came in colors. Am I the only person that didn't know that? Anyways, this is genius. Genius. Love it. So thank you, Lisa. One more package to go at the end of this month is the one from Keegan Lane Yarns, Amelia Bella. I can't wait to see. I'm so excited. This yarn club has been a blast. I have had so much fun. We are definitely going to be doing the club again. We may do it with fiber next time. It will probably be after the holiday. It will definitely be after the holidays. We'll see. We'll see. We're going to talk, the three of us, once the club is over. So, yeah. Now, I also, in the mail, received, I got the buttons, I got the trifecta of Awesome Yarn Club. They all came to my home in the mountains, and I made my husband video chat with me and show me all the stuff because I couldn't wait to see it. So I got this lovely card in the mail. You see these lovely turtles on it? Can you see the turtles? It took me like 4 times viewing the turtles to see the turtles, but now I see the turtles. This is a card from my dear friend on Plurk, Lori Bean. And Lori Bean is one of the most generous, wonderful, hardworking, incredible ladies I've ever met. I love her. And I love her so hard. And she's so patient with me. And I just... Great big puffy heart for Lori Bean. Lori Bean has had a very busy season. She's a wine buyer and waitress at an upscale restaurant in Oregon. See, I can say it right. And she's been incredibly busy, and as I totally understand, and things happen when you're busy, but she had selected a skein of yarn to give me for my birthday back in June, and it had just sort of been put to the back burner while she dealt with a bunch of stuff, and I totally, like, I didn't know about it, so I was fine with it. But even after she told me, I was like, that's really not a big deal. For that yarn, it's worth waiting. So I got the package, and my husband showed me. Sorry for the crinkling. This is a beautiful package of naturally dyed Romney locks. I can't wait to spin this up. It looks really clean. There's a little bit of veggie matter, but it's very clean. Very subtle, very subtly dyed yarn. My colors are on tonight. Love that. So I'm going to spin that up. And then she also sent me, ha 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 ha, Woolmizer. Look at the Woolmizer. Look at the pretty. It's so pretty. Here, I'll hold it for you so you can look at it. Hang on. There we go. Look at it. Focus. Please focus on the pretty yarn. Oh, yeah. Look at that. So gorgeous. Oh, I freaking love this. This is Woolmizer 100% Merino Superwash in the weird different colorway. Looks like blue tint. Does that make sense? Blue tint. B-L-A-U-E-T-I-N-T-E. Anyways, it's a gorgeous royal blue, and it deepens into a navy blue. Super saturated. Super fantastic. This is going to be a shawlette for me, I think. I don't want to stash the Woolmizer. I want to use it. I'm using one skein, the only skein I've ever had in my Wish shawl. That's that gray Young Mouse colorway. That's the 80-20 twin. And then this 100%. I love it. This is the second skein I've had. And my husband likes this too. And he was like, can you make me something out of that? And I was like, no, I can't. It's my birthday present. Lori gave it to me. No. See, now that I know that I like to knit with Woolmizer, it's not enough to just have one. Like, I totally was ignoring the whole Woolmizer craze. I did not understand why people were going nuts over it until I knit with it. And I know there are a lot of people out there that really don't enjoy knitting with Woolmizer. Send it to me because I really enjoy it. I love how smoothly it transfers over the needles. I love the feel of it, like, running through in between my fingers when I'm knitting. I really enjoy the tactile sensation of knitting with the Woolmizer. And of course, the colors are nice too. Understatement. This is a yarn I want to work with a lot. And now that I have learned that, I've got the beginnings of a bit of an obsession. Like, I have twice been to the Wollmeise shop, the actual website, the German website, when there has been yarn in stock. And I've caught one Loopy U update lately. So 3 times I've had the ability to purchase Wollmeise, and I'm not allowed to buy yarn right now. So my husband has talked me down every time, but it's been right there. I'm hoping for my next skein of Wollmeise to have a wild and crazy skein. I want a really highly variegated skein. We'll see. If you saw right next to my deadline knits, excuse me, there was a thing that said shred day number 17 consecutive 1, prize Wollmeise. My husband and I have a deal that if I do the shred for 20 days out of 21, so in the next 3 weeks, if I do the shred, the Jillian Michaels workout video, the shred 20 times, then he will let me buy a skein of Wollmeise. I did one day yesterday, and I'm an idiot and tried to do level 2. Level 2 kicked my butt. I've done level 1 for a couple of weeks now, and I've been doing all right with level 1, but level 2 kicked my butt. So I think I'm going back to level 1 tonight. That will be right off, actually, because it's almost 7:30. So sorry about the hair, guys. Tonight I'm getting ready to unpack my bag and stuff, so this is kind of a last-minute video. I'm not looking very chic this week. Sorry. But that's all I have for you this week, I think. Yep. Thank you to all the people who have been giving me great feedback about the line beanie pattern. I really appreciate that. I hope that I did update the pattern on Ravelry so that the new version is out there. So if you downloaded the original, go check for updates because the new one is out. That just fixed that measurement for the lining so that you don't keep knitting forever and then have it not work out. I don't want you to do what I had to do. Excuse me. That's my signal that it's time to go. I hope everybody has a great weekend. Happy Veterans Day again to all the veterans who are near and dear to my heart and to all of our hearts. Thank you for your service to our country and to us. Until next week, guys, happy spinning and knitting, and thanks for tuning in.